As a child, my childhood for entertainment choices, I grew up in the time when there was only 7 channels on the TV, and Saturday morning was time for Saturday morning cartoons. More so than it is even now, because now you have Cartoon Network, and you have cartoons are on 24/7, 365 days a week. But when I grew up, it was Saturdays. Saturdays is when you saw cartoons. So I always sat in front of the TV way too close, where the radiation of 2 TVs kind of fucking probably destroyed my eyes. That's why I wear glasses. That was the type of thing I loved. Mimicking cartoon voices. I loved watching cartoons. I always thought cartoons in a very subversive way taught you a very moral lesson. It showed you, good versus evil, or it also showed you comedic timing, slapstick. How many times can Wile E. Coyote not get the Roadrunner? Really? Talk about persistence. It was really a way to figure out, if you just keep trying, you will get that Roadrunner, even though he never did. Things like that. You had the buddies, the good friends, the Flintstones as well and stuff. So that's why when it came to us working on a cartoon, I'm like, oh my God, this was my dream. Plus, it's the type of job where you read the script on a Monday, they change some things up on a Tuesday. By Wednesday, you start recording in the studio. Thursday, they'll record again, and by Friday, you usually are done. And they brought in so many cool guest stars to come in and record, which was awesome to work with some of these great comedians that I looked up to. So that was a lot of fun. It's heartbreaking that it didn't get picked up, and ABC, and I'll say this, I don't give a fuck if they hear it, ABC just stopped at trying to realize what they should have done with it. They kind of bought it to bury it, because UPN back in the day, which now is the WB or whatever, UPN was going to take a whole season of 26 episodes immediately right away, but Disney, who owned the rights, said, no, stay with us. UPN won't even be around next year. They were kind of right. It didn't change hands until 7 years later, but at least we would have had 7 seasons because UPN had nothing at the time. Excuse me. But I also think it's something that eventually, hopefully, we can go back and do again. When we physically become too hideous to look at in real life, for a live action photo, at least we still have our voices to do something. And come on, look at some of the voice actors that are here. Really, do you want to see them? Oh, God, no, I'm just kidding. Busting chops. But yeah, so I had a blast doing it. Also, we wanted to do one whole episode where we recorded everything, where we were in our underwear, where only we knew this, where the announcement in the beginning of the cartoon, this was recorded in front of underwear, underwear-clad people, something of that nature.
Thanks, man. I hope we get to, or are we going to get to see you in the new Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Yes, you will. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I'm trying to convince Kevin to put me in 3 different roles. I'm trying to bring the entire Hicks clan back at some point, so it'll be like Dante, Gil Hicks, Grant Hicks, maybe Sean Hicks, maybe some guy named Hicks, who knows?
Cool, thank you.
He's like a stutterer. What's your name? Hicks. Oh, okay. I heard you the first 15 times. By the way, if anybody has a stutter and now is upset, please, you are warned. You do, sir?
No, but I can fake one really well.
Well, so does everybody. Shit, I could fake comatose if I drink enough of those ginger ales. He's comatose. How you doing?
Just to kind of build on that last one, watching cartoons as an adult, you get a whole new appreciation, especially for Looney Tunes, things like that. You kind of touched on it briefly, but what are some of your favorite cartoons? You mentioned that you watched as a kid. Was it Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies? What type of stuff did you watch?
Yeah, Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies was always great. It wasn't until I was a teenager that the Japanese anime started to filter into the American TV cycle. So you had, I had a friend, I grew up in an area when I was in my teen years where it was a lot of Asian people. So I had VHS tapes from Japan of the original Dragon Ball Z stuff with the original, Japanese voices with American, English subtitles. And I remember it was kind of only a few people knew about it back then and stuff. And it was I still have the VHS tapes to this day because they're really, really great. Especially because the Japanese language in general, just when they're screaming at each other, it's oh my God, they're gonna kill each other. Meanwhile, they're just can you pass me that soda? I don't know Japanese, and I'm not gonna attempt it because I don't want to offend someone then with Japanese, but they're like, I'm like, oh, I think he just said happy birthday. You know what I mean? But it sounded so angry. It's like German when they're making love. It's like weird. From what I've been told. From what I've been told. But yeah, those were some of the kind of cartoons I really enjoyed. Woody Woodpecker is always hilarious. Popeye back in the day. So there's tons of stuff. Yes.
My brother didn't tell me all of the movies that like the Clerks and the Mallrats and everything was related until after I watched all of them, or like you could have watched them in a certain order. Did you know they were all connected somehow before you made them, or like before you were in them?
Well, we didn't know. I mean, first Kevin didn't know he was making all those films at once. But when we made the original Clerks, and then we got picked up and we were going to make Mallrats, and then he gave me the character of Gil Hicks. We kind of, you know, he's like, look, we'll say he's like a cousin or a brother of Dante and stuff, because it was just literally me with a really rad and well done mullet and clean shaven. So then we went from there to Chasing Amy, where I played the TV executive, where it was, you know, Sean Hicks, even though the credit says executive #1, but it was Sean Hicks. And then we went into Grant Hicks for Dogma, you know, the news anchor kind of guy, which I think Will Ferrell stole, but that's just my thing. Anyway, just kidding. But no, we didn't. I mean, as we went along, there is a series. If you want to see Kevin's stuff and follow the inside jokes that carry from movie to movie, it's best to watch them in the order he made them,
Right.
because we do refer back to previous, and other characters that are talked about in one is talked about again. You know, like Alyssa Jones in Mallrats is actually referenced to at the funeral, you know, of Clerks. So yeah.
They were like a surprise to me whenever I was catching it. I caught it like late after I watched the wrong movies. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me you were supposed to watch them in a particular order.
No, I mean, and then they're good on their own. I mean, it's not like you have
yeah,
to.
but I didn't. They were like,
Yeah, it's not like all of a sudden you're watching The Blood Wedding and you're like, well, what the fuck's this all about? Who the fuck's Jon Snow? And what do I care about Hoarder? You know, like, no, it's
No, they were just
it's
like
not like you
little
have to watch it.
cameos.
Right. But the cameos definitely pop up. It's just really great about it. But, you know, you'll, you know, explain to your brother later, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's not the way it should be. And to be honest with you, you should make it a weekend of USG movies and watch 2 on one day, 2 on another day, or 3 on another,
Right.
whatever. Gets really inebriated, like, oh, now I get it. You know. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for answering.
You're welcome.
Hi, so in the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie, there's all these like references to Ben Affleck and all the movies and stuff like that. In the new
Move a little closer to the.
sorry.
There you go.
In the new Jay and Silent Bob movie, are you going to like talk about how he's Batman now? Is that like a joke?
That I haven't been given that script. My co-star on the stage here. Oh wait, he's not here. Jay Muse, paging Jay Muse. He has actually read the script since the movie has his fucking name in the title. But I think that I'm sure there's going to be some sort of reference. I know Kevin is making fun of reboots in general in the movie, so obviously the Batman series has been rebooted a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much as Spider-Man, which at this point they might as well just call Spider-Man Menudo, because it's like, what the fuck? Every 5 days it's like a new Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm sure something with that will come up. And who knows, maybe Batman will even show up in the movie. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be pretty
If we
cool.
could afford DC's licensing fees, who knows?
Right.
And Ben Affleck's big chin.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Hello.
Hello. Having not read the new Jay and Silent Bob movie, have you seen the Clerks 3 script, or are you involved in the process at all?
Well, the Clerks 3 script has been written for the past 3 years. I've had that copy in my possession for about that long, and it was awesome. It's a really great, great script. Unfortunately, Jeff Anderson has pulled out of the project. So that, as of right now, that script is on indefinite hold. But knowing the basic outline of what Jay and Silent Bob's going to be about, a lot of what was going to be in Clerks 3 is finding its way into the Jay and Silent Bob movie.
So could we possibly see maybe a Dante Netflix series?
A Dante Netflix series? Do you work for Netflix, sir? Because I will sign on the fucking dotted line right now.
They seem to be growing a number of shows, so.
Yeah, dude, I'm be more than happy to do that. Whether Kevin wants to write a Dante character for that long is a different story. But who knows? Maybe Dante's on the run for killing Randall finally. So it's like Dog the Bounty Hunter, Ed Bryan O'Halloran in Fugitive Dante. He wasn't even supposed to kill that day, but he did.
on his day off for the last time with his wife Becky and his illegitimate, hideous love child of a kid. Dude, this shit writes itself. And I just had only a half a beer and I'm thinking up with good shit. I like it. We'll run with it. You could be an executive producer. Get on it. I expect an email from a week from you. Hello.